Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProfitMoney.com. In this video, we are going to look at the Wells Fargo credit card lineup and do a little ranking of the cards. Now, Wells Fargo has a bit of a tarnished reputation right now in the banking field because of some past unethical behaviors from some people that worked at the company who are opening credit card accounts and other accounts for customers without those customers knowing that those accounts were being opened. So obviously that's not a good thing. But as it stands today, Wells Fargo actually has one of the best no annual fee rewards credit card lineups out there, and we are going to look at four main cards from Wells Fargo, and I would tell you that of the top three that we're going to look at, you could probably rearrange them in any order and on a different day, or for a different person, I could tell you that maybe they should be ranked differently than I am going to put them in this video. They are all strong and they all have sort of their own reason for being and certain customers who would like them better than others. So we're going to look at the lineup and you can figure out for yourself which one seems the best for you. The best credit card in the Wells Fargo lineup, as far as I'm concerned, is the Wells Fargo Autograph Visa. No annual fee. You're going to get 3 points per dollar or 3% cash back on a ton of purchases and a ton of categories. 3% back at restaurants, 3% back on most travel, 3% back on gas, 3% on transit, 3% on most streaming services, 3% on your phone bill, whether that's wireless or a landline. If you're one of those people that still has a landline, 1 point per dollar on anything that falls outside of those categories, but that is a lot of categories. As a new card holder, you've got a 20,000 point or $200 bonus opportunity if you spend $1,000 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. So we're talking about points here, and I've been talking about cash back. Each point is worth a penny when you go to redeem it. In most cases, you're probably going to redeem it for cash back on this card, either as a statement credit, or you even could get a paper check if you wanted to, but you could use your points for things like gift cards or travel purchases and maybe some other things as well, but doesn't necessarily make sense to use it for any reason other than as a cashback card, because the points aren't necessarily getting you anything better when you redeem it for those other things. So a ton of points, a ton of cashback in a ton of categories. But that's not all, because this card also has no foreign transaction fees, which is not particularly common for a credit card with no annual fee. This card also gives you a 0% interest rate on your purchases with the card for the first 12 months that you have it, so you could float some purchases during that first year if you so desire. There is cell phone protection on this card, which gives you some insurance if your cell phone is damaged or stolen. It gives you up to $600 in protection, and you have a $25 deductible on that. Make sure you read the fine print to understand what you're getting, but if you're paying for your cell phone with the card, well, then you also would have cell phone protection. So with all those rewards and a 0% offer and cell phone protection and no foreign transaction fees on a no annual fee card, a pretty great package. Number 2 on this list I went back and forth on, but ultimately came down on the side of the BILT Rewards MasterCard. Now, technically, BILT Rewards is an outside company, with Wells Fargo being the issuer of their credit card, but Wells Fargo is also an investor in BILT Rewards, and I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually own them outright. Anyway, the claim to fame of the BILT Rewards MasterCard is that you can earn rewards points on your rent payments and pay for your rent with a credit card. Even if your landlord doesn't accept credit cards, in that case, you would pay BILT and then they would send a check to your landlord. So you can pay for your rent with your credit card and you can earn 1 point per dollar on those rent purchases. In addition, 3 points per dollar at restaurants, 2 points per dollar on travel purchases, 1 point per dollar everywhere else. On rent day, what they call it, on the first of the month, you can earn double points on your purchases that aren't your rent payments. Also, you should know that you do have to use the card 5 times in a billing cycle in order to earn points on all of these things. So they do want to make sure that you are using the card at least a decent amount and not just using it on those rent payments. All of this on a no annual fee card. In terms of redeeming the points that you earn on this card, probably the most popular option is going to be travel, either through a travel portal where you can book your flights and hotels, picking from multiple airlines and hotel chains, or doing a one-to-one transfer through one of their transfer partners, such as American, United, Hyatt, and there's a list of a bunch of others as well. So for a lot of people, that's probably going to be the most attractive choice. You can use your points toward a more mortgage down payment. You could use them toward rent payments in the future, although the value of your points is going to be much less if you use them toward your rent payment. So that's something to definitely understand. You could use them toward fitness memberships, and then they also have the BILT collection, which is art and housewares and other things of that nature that you could use to redeem for. I don't think most people are probably using their points for those kind of merchandise rewards. Travel is really the story here. Now, there are a couple potential downsides to the BILT Rewards MasterCard. Number one being that, for the most part, you're not going to find a bonus for new card holders on this card. Every so often, there might be a special offer, but in general, there's no potential to get a big chunk of points up front. Now, obviously, if you're paying your rent and your rent's high enough, you might feel like that is a bonus right there, but that is not part of the sort of standard card holder offer with BILT. Number two, you cannot redeem your points for straight cash back. So if that is desirable to you, this card obviously is not going to look quite as good. A few other features to highlight on the BILT Rewards MasterCard. No foreign transaction fees, so you're not going to get charged anything extra when you use the card outside of the US like some cards do charge. This is, again, a very nice feature on a no annual fee card. It is not necessarily very common. You have some trip insurances when you travel, in particular trip delay or trip cancellation insurance. You could be reimbursed for some of your expenses if something goes wrong on the travel front. You have cell phone protection on this card as well, and make sure to check the details there to see how much you could get and what your deductible is on that. So even though there are some slight downsides to the BILT MasterCard in terms of no bonus and no cash back option, a really nice package on a no annual fee card, and the uniqueness of being able to pay your rent with it, which is why it's number 2 on this list. Now, number 3 on the list is the Wells Fargo Active Cash Visa, which is a 2% cash back card. Flat cash back, you're getting 2% cash back on everything that you buy with the card. As I make this video, as a new card holder, you could also earn a $200 bonus if you spend at least $500 with the card in the first few months of having it. This card also has cell phone protection as part of its package. There's not a whole lot else going on with this card, but there are other 2% cashback cards on the market, but most of them don't have a bonus opportunity on the front. So with this one, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the 2% and you're getting a bonus potential. So when you compare this card to something like the Citi Double Cash, which usually does not have a bonus opportunity, well then obviously that's going to make it look a little better. But because there are other 2% cards on the market, this one's not quite as unique as the BILT card, which is why I slot it in at number 3 on the list. Fourth and finally is the Wells Fargo Reflect credit card, a no annual fee credit card that is all about the 0% interest rate. You're getting a 0% APR on your purchases and your balance transfers for 21 months. So any new purchases you make and then any balances that you transfer from another credit card onto this credit card could also sit for up to 21 months while you pay them off, and you wouldn't have to pay any interest. Note though that there is a 5% balance transfer fee. So if you do move a balance from another card onto this one, you are going to have to pay that 5% up front to do that. But 21 months on the balance transfer is pretty good, and then 21 months on new purchases. If you bought something large and you had this card, say it was $2,000, you still would only have to pay $100 a month over the course of that 21 months, and still you'd have it all paid off by then without paying any interest. So there obviously is an attraction to this, but once you get past those 21 months, not a whole lot going on with this card, because it just then becomes a regular old credit card with no rewards, nothing else really happening. You do have cell phone protection on this card, which is nice, but really, once you get past that 21 months, you're probably going to be looking to either get rid of this card or just throw it in a drawer somewhere, or maybe see if Wells Fargo would let you change it into one of their other credit cards. So those are the 4 main credit cards from Wells Fargo. I also should mention that Wells Fargo is the issuer of the Choice Privileges credit cards, the rewards program of Choice Hotels. Choice Hotels is the parent company of a bunch of mostly motels, things like Quality Inn, Clarion, Comfort Inn, Econo Lodge, Wood Spring, and there are some other things that fall under Choice as well. So if you're someone that sort of travels in that fashion, sort of lower priced hotels and motels, you might be interested in those cards as well. I don't include them in these sort of rankings here because they're really a credit card more about the hotel than it is about Wells Fargo. Hey, that's it. Questions, comments, put them in that comment section below and I will be happy to answer them if I can. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you're not going to leave a comment or go to the website, you might want to watch next this video.